I linked up James to Caleb Karuga, who's the founder of Wendy Farms that has interest in agribusiness, specifically the poultry business, dairy business and the kale business. Caleb is a former journalist who has turned his passion for farming into a business and now boasts of 3 farms based in Kikuyu, Thika and Kirinyaga.
So Caleb, you're taking care of your chicken?
I have to. Yeah?
I've never met someone who's taller than I am.
It's a tall order.
It's very tall in here.
You know. I thought I was the tallest. Now I can see.
So it is tall, taller, tallest.
The long and short of it is that you're all short.
So I'm going to keep it very short.
Please do, please do.
So I want to introduce you to James. He's also a poultry farmer, but he does mostly broilers. So I want to go you guys to go have a conversation around the agri-business. And then I'm going to catch up with you guys later.
This is not your stew.
It's not my stew.
It's not your
I need my chap to Mulu and Davio. So I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for creating time for me. I'm just a young farmer, so I've done a lot of research and I landed on your good videos about this farming. So I'll be happy to learn how have you managed and for the period up to this point.
James, like you said, you're also a farmer. I started farming back in 2010, more because it was a hobby. I wanted to eat healthy, hence the Kenyan chicken you're seeing over here. So I went to Tala, that's called Cumberland, and I got 1 cock and 2 hens. And that's how I started farming. Because we procrastinate a lot as human beings. And I had done the same for so many years. Kept saying one day I'll get into chicken farming. Then I think one day, like today, I'm going to start. So started with that. I did pigs. I failed miserably. The pigs, yes. I had about 80 pigs. Actually, this structure originally was for pigs. Because I had read articles, like you said, you've researched on me. I'd also researched on other people, how apparently they were successful in pig farming. And I failed miserably because the cost of feeding was very high. Still is high today. But what has kept me going is, and the question you asked, as long as you've identified a problem in the marketplace. For me, the problem was a consistent supply of kienyeji meat and eggs. Consistent. There are people who have chicken all over, but can you consistently supply chicken to your clients? So that's why I decided to get into chicken farming, specifically kienyeji. Now I'm doing horticulture, and so far so good.
Oh. Okay, so basically, from what I'm learning, you have to diversify when you get into farming. Or are there correlation between now what you are doing and or what is driving you to now horticulture?
But there's a doctor friend of mine who told me don't diversify at startup. And I was like, what do you mean don't diversify at startup? The mistake we make as entrepreneurs is you want just to diversify to spread your risk, which is important. But you find people diversifying. You're doing pigs, you have an M-Pesa shop, you're doing 10 things at the same time. If you have to diversify in your line of expertise.
How do you manage your feeds? The feeding, basically the feeding and feeds, because those are a big headache for me.
If you go to Uganda, the average mama who has 100, 200 chicken, and I've been there and I benchmark a lot from those small scale farmers. They will tell you they do not buy processed feeds, animal feeds like we do. They'll go back to what I was telling you, the cassava. So until we make it a culture, us as Kenyan farmers, we adopt that culture that they have of planting alternative sources of carbohydrates or starch for us as humans and for our livestock, then we are going to keep on complaining that eggs are coming from Uganda, which are cheaper. How are you affected with the flooding of the eggs? How did you survive?
Well, like I mean, it's for us. For me, my business model is a bit different. It's not what you produce and take it to the market, but I approach it the other way around. Secure a market, produce.
I think I like that. It's the same thing we've been trying to encourage, especially the young people, getting into farming. They are excited at the prospects of becoming millionaires by getting into farming. But I think the reality of farming is, don't farm without a market in mind. And I don't think you and I cannot overemphasize that. Secure a market, lock it down, anzia sokoni. Before you do anything, from the simple thing as, before I bring a day-old chick here, who is going to be my market? If I'm going to do kienyeji, am I going to sell to butcheries, to people like you, to hotels? Do they want? How much are they willing to buy my egg? So if it's schools, how many schools am I going to supply to? Jot down everything. I think I like that. Let me ask, do you do any insurance?
Yes, I do. Yes, I've already insured. Like I said, you know, that is a very, a market that is unknown. And having worked in the insurance industry, you basically have to be aware of unknown. And in this case, unknown is your investment. You're investing today, but tomorrow you can find the whole flock is dead. Something I just interesting I've learned is at least other than just producing your eggs for consumption, you're also doing something different. And of course, I would look at it from where I sit, value addition. So maybe you can just take me through, because I'm not an expert. Do you need, how do you hatch your...
Hatching, we have an incubator. So from the hatchery now, we take the eggs to the hatchery, where of course we do the usual ratio of 1 cock to 7 hens, or 1 to 10, depending on the numbers that you have. Take the eggs to the hatchery. After 21 days, they hatch. But before we set the eggs to the hatchery, we never set eggs in the incubator unless we have an order. Because the mistake people make is, you have 1,000 eggs, put them in incubator. So now that I'm centrally placed in Nairobi, I do value addition by selling from a day-old chick to a month-old chick. So for what we do, because this one is very possible for us to do natural hatching, we have an incubator. So from the hatchery now, we take the eggs to the hatchery, where of course we do the usual ratio of 1 cock to 7 hens, or 1 to 10, depending on the numbers that you have. Take the eggs to the hatchery. After 21 days, they hatch. But before we set the eggs to the hatchery, we never set eggs in the incubator unless we have an order. Something else we do, and farmers have been, I think, I don't know whether they've really picked it, manure. Chicken manure is, I think, among the best animal manure you can ever get. So what we do is, our chicken don't go out a lot. I'm a very, have to get money wherever I can. So once they eat, the whole of the morning hours, we ensure that they're inside, they do all their pooping inside, then we collect that manure, which we sell. So it's also a revenue stream that many people don't look at. Another revenue stream that probably I would encourage you to look at, those 5 years we've been farming, those are not small years, those are many years. If you are able now to start training people, because they offer training at this farm, on poultry and horticulture, there are people who want to get into broilers and layers. They can't come to me because I don't do broilers and I don't do layers. But there's something that you cracked that I have not cracked. So look at also training as a revenue stream, something you can add to what you're doing.
This was a great opportunity, of course, to have a conversation with the people who have been in this industry. And I think at every time there are lessons. Like now I've picked exploring, not just giving manure for free. There should be customers. And there are other avenues I can explore in terms of value addition. Other than just selling the product, I should also look at the hatching. It's a whole industry that we keep looking and in different perspectives.
On the Hustle Hangout today, I feature an entrepreneur by the name Brian Mwau, who in collaboration with his business mentor Chris Kirubi and Centum Foundation have brought to life a solution that is bound to change the face of business in this country, Ajiri.
After graduation, back then in 2016, I had most of my classmates and also my friends calling me, ringing me and asking me for opportunities, yet I was still a student like them. So that got me thinking of a way that we can come up with an application that can be able to link, the students to their employees. That took me a while. Early last year, I made a visit to one of my to one of my long-time mentors, Dr. Chris Kirubi, and he introduced me to the director of Tribus, that is James Nicol, and we sat down, and actually that time we were talking about cybersecurity. Then this idea came up on how we can create a platform, or rather an application, where guys can be able to get jobs online, and also in case you need a job done, how can you post a job and people can get their future workforce through the application. Ajiri is it's a progressive web application. What I mean by that is you don't have to go to Play Store or the App Store to get the application and download it. No, you just need to go to your browser, type ajiri.com, you get to the application, and you'll get an automatic, a pin that's telling you if you want the Ajiri to be pinned to your home screen, just click on that. And with a click of button, you have Ajiri on your mobile phone. So what basically Ajiri does, it connects people to people, businesses to people, and also people to businesses. In what way? You need a job done, and for example, you just broke a tap in your house. You need a plumber to do that. All you need to do with Ajiri, get to their application, go to the section I want to hire, or rather I want to employ, just type plumber, and with that, put the location where you are, and maybe you put your budget, the minimum and maximum rate, submit, you get a list of all the plumbers around your area, and you just click on confirm hire. Then automatically you get the contacts of that plumber.
So thank you so much for having watched the show. Hope you've learned a thing or two on how exactly you can convert these chickens to become a business. Thank you so much for your feedback that you guys have been sharing. And if you don't know how exactly you can give us your feedback from the show, there's an SMS line on the screen, and also our social media lines are running below the screen. And also remember, each and every Wednesday to grab a copy of the Standard to read the Business Coach column. My name is Ian Dennis, and this has been The Business Coach, where we help entrepreneurs better their business.